I hated Kobe. I said really not nice things about Kobe many times. I mean, extremely rude things I said about Kobe Bryant, a man I never met. And I'm not going to apologize for those. Rather, I'm going to describe to you how he pulled from within me such animosity because of his skill as a basketball player and his determination to beat everybody, his will to win. That's what I want to talk about. And I like thinking about the association as a club because I was an 8-year-old kid in 1974 when I went to my first game. And, we were immigrants, and there was a wealthy family in our school who owned these seats right behind the opposing bench, right? For the Hemisphere Arena games. The whole thing. So imagine being 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, until I was a senior at Clark over here, going to Spurs games with that level of connectivity. Many of you had that through the Tony, Tim, Manu years, the Popovich era, and I was with you. But my roots are from very young with the Spurs. And so, many of you may not remember that the Spurs were in the Eastern Conference. They weren't in the Western Conference. And once we moved to the Western Conference, the Lakers and the Showtime Lakers in specific were the dominant force in the Western Conference. Yesterday on here, on Blue Sky, the sports app, yesterday on here, the NBA Cobwebs, which is, I gotta say, ups to NBA Cobwebs, put up an Iceman game, and then they noted that Mike Mitchell had an additional 22 points. Ice had 42 in this game that they put up yesterday. And they noted that Spur Mike Mitchell also had 22 in the game. Well, that was right before, that was 85, that was right before the Lakers just came and took Mike Mitchell. And we were last 8 and they were 1, right? So when the playoffs came, it was only best of 3, right? So they have the better home record. So it's 2 games in LA, 2 games in San Antonio, and 1 if necessary. But there was 2 games in LA and they just beat us, right? That would happen 3 years in a row in the 80s. It was the Showtime Lakers. And then you either became a Celtics fan or a Laker fan, and I was always a Laker fan. I loved Magic. I loved Kareem, So as a boy, without knowing it, as an immigrant without knowing it, my connection to this club was that when Kareem and Magic were there, they were sitting right in front of me. Kareem patted me on the head one time, I remember. I met Bill Russell when he was coaching the Celtics, and everybody was afraid I was going to ask him for an autograph. You don't ask Russell for an autograph, but I knew that, even though I was 10, because I wasn't an idiot, so I just went and said, "Sir, I'd love to shake your hand," and he shook my hand, and I shook Bill Russell's hand when I was a kid, sitting down there. I mean, this is extremely fortunate NBA engagement for a young person, So flash forward, I saw Michael's rookie year from there, Jordan, right? And of course, we could see what was happening. The world could see what was happening. It was another level. And I loved watching Mike play. All the rest of it, the circus, the zoo, less so. But always as a Spurs fan, the rivalry between the Lakers' next championship set and our first championship set was born out of us winning our first championship when the season had been shortened. So we beat the Knicks in the 52 games or 62 game season or something. Not even that many, I don't think. And it felt like we won it, but asterisk, right? But everybody in town obviously felt the feeling that we had won it. And it was because of one guy, this kid from Wake Forest. David was doing the bulk of the work, the big time work, I mean. And then this kid. So, and of course, we all will remember AJ for hitting the shot. Sean Elliott, critical, the Memorial Day miracle. But that star thing, even before the Big Three stuff started years later, was applicable here because of what Showtime made the picture of, and what the Lakers expected to be again with Kobe and Shaq. And I'm not going to say it like that. Wow. I was about to use a phrase I would use if Kobe was alive, even though he's been dead for 5 years. So I'm not going to use that phrase. But the battles between the Spurs and the Lakers were heated, and I would have been 30, 31, 32, 33, 35, 37, All of my 30s is when Kobe, Shaq, and Timmy, Dave, Manu, Tony, all Spurs and Lakers fans can get into this with you later. So I said foul things about Kobe Bryant. And I even let myself believe some things that I'm certain weren't true. And also being in the industry later and moving to Los Angeles and understanding what the industry is and what entertainment is, and being an older person now and not seeing the game, just the game, but the rest of it, Kobe became more and more fascinating to me as an intellect. This guy was interesting. A polyglot, he could speak several languages. He saw the internationalization of the game early because of his youth. He was elegant. And our guy, Shaq, had gone to high school here. He was a sophomore when I was a senior at Clark, He was their muscle, right? And Kobe was, in contrast, so different. So there are things there that were memories I almost didn't allow myself to have until he died. And so the many things you can say are about the skill set, but I only want to focus on determination and will to win. It's a determination to win. I will not let you beat me type of thing. I'm sure you've seen it in Tyrese Maxey, and you've seen it in Manu Ginobili, and you've seen it in other people. Manu blocking Harden from behind comes to mind, or tracking down Kevin Durant to block the thing, or LeBron, obviously, the famous rundown after Kyrie makes the three. Well, those are all good examples of that. I will not let you win, That, which I'm labeling determination to win, Michael Jordan in my life. I've never seen anything like it. Was just crazy how he would just single-handedly take over a game. And here we have to separate the guards from the big men, because the big men are using a physical attribute. The guards are doing something else, navigating and scoring. And that's what Kobe did better than anybody. So I hated him and admired him. Now, there's a video when he died I put up. So when he died, I heard about it in the car on the radio on the way to the studio. So I walked in the studio, I was like, what? Put the radio on in the studio, sat down and listened for 2.5 hours while people cried on air in LA, where my son was born, And then Mamba mentality became the catchphrase we use to describe what we're talking about. He would inspire others to motivate in a way using his just that will. And I'm lazy. And he said, about lazy people, I just don't get those people, I'm physically lazy. I'm not into that. I'm into other things. I'm doing other things. I'm doing things in a different way, but I admire that, and he motivates me. Thinking about him motivates me to act. Just thinking about the Mamba. So for Spurs fans, many of us have the memory of the Mother's Day miracle. No. So for Spurs fans, many of us have the memory of the Mother's Day massacre. And that was that in the playoffs with Shaq and Kobe over there, we had a chance, but not really. They were going to probably beat us. And we were at the Alamo Dome, and it is the last game at the Alamo Dome. And I was there, like many people, with my mother. And I had a 35 millimeter camera. And I took a picture of what happened in the last 8.5 seconds of the game when Kobe came right down the lane. And this is that picture. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if you can see that. So there's Shaq, there's Kobe. The ball is above the basket. And Kobe is charging down the lane. And he put the stick back jam right there. It is. That's us at the Alamo Dome. The last game ever played at the Alamo Dome. The Mother's Day Massacre by Kobe Bryant, who could have been cool to all the moms and kids in San Antonio, Texas. And you know what? That photo is incredible, by the way. That's the only print, and I have no idea where the negatives are. So that's pretty hilarious. But Timmy's blocked out by Shaq. No, David. You can see how they create the small amount of space, and he's looking at the ball, and the rest of them are waiting for the ball to hit the rim and come down. You can see that in that photo right there. Which I took and put the camera down and looked at the jam, and my mom. And everybody in the place was deflated. And Michael Jordan has done that to so many people, and Kobe has done that to so many people. And then a handful of guys have done that to so many people, but a few, maybe less times. Dame, and Kawhi, and the most famous one probably. So it's a big mix of hatred for admiration for complete false mythical maybe memory. Not of the game, I'm talking about of things outside the game, In the game, I remember everything about the game. That guy had game. Well, so to Kobe, in passing, rest in play, Kobe Bryant.